I love and understand as a mama your desire to want to give, but it sounds like you're giving beyond your capacity, meaning that we always have to check in with ourselves as givers. What's the point where it feels energetically out of balance? So my guess is maybe lending him some money or making him dinner or doing smaller tasks probably feels more in your capacity because it allows you to stay in control of your mental health and your tasks and responsibilities. But it sounds like you have overstretched this limit by putting this offer or favor out to him, but it's beyond what you really feel energetically capable of doing. And you're doing it under probably some construct or narrative, like he's my son, I'll do anything for him. And we hear this all the time. I would kill for my kids. You know what I mean? I would do anything for them, blah, blah, blah. But that's part of a challenge that I want you to take a look at and explore, because if you were giving to him from a place of resource, you wouldn't necessarily care how he responded to it. Of course, we don't want to feel like we're being taken for granted, but you certainly don't want to feel like you're sacrificing either. And I think that like the concept of sacrifice, and I'd love Ruby to chime in about this, I have a lot of theories about where that comes from, this whole like sacrifice things. It feels really like a religious context passed down, and it feels like some puritanical shit, and it feels like the patriarchy. Like it feels like a lot of those constructs, because I do not sacrifice. Even if there is a concept in my life that maybe for someone they would perceive it as a sacrifice, I would never subscribe that narrative to it, because for me, sacrifice sounds like, or equates to me, that I have put my needs aside and I have put my mental health aside and my well-being for the sake of somebody else. And the truth of the matter is, at this stage in the game, it's very rare that I'm willing to do that. Outside of extremely unordinary circumstances, am I willing to do that? I'm not willing to do that in my day-to-day favors. There might be an element where there's a lot of things you can offer him. Maybe it is money, maybe it is rides, maybe it is support, but maybe you giving him your car isn't really the best favor or sort of offering, because it sounds like it's jeopardizing a lot of your own space, responsibilities, and the things that you need to attend to, which is then automatically putting you in a place of resentment. So it's sort of setting you up to fail.
I just want to check in, and I want to challenge you if you're willing, because what I read was, I have no choice but to do this. And last I checked, I'm almost certain you don't have a gun held to your head with someone telling you, I'm either going to shoot you or you have to loan your son the car. Just let me know if I'm correct there. Because if I'm off base, I do want to be checked. Because you always have a choice. Even in the most dire of circumstances, we get to choose our thoughts and our reactions. And when we take that away from ourselves, we put ourselves in the place of victim, right? So we're teaching others always, every moment, how to treat us by the way we treat ourselves and by the way we allow other people to treat us. When we engender this place of sacrifice, our needs for someone else, not only do we teach someone that you're not responsible for your own needs, I am, we also teach them, regardless of how you treat me, I'm going to allow you to do whatever you want. So he's being disrespectful, he's not being kind, he's not being appreciative, and yet for some reason, my guess is you do want his love, you do want his appreciation, you do want his connection, and you're afraid if you make some boundaries, hey, it's not okay to treat me like that, and my car is off limits when I need it. If it works out that you can use it and I don't need it, great. But what I notice is I need to actually make my needs first, right? And if we do that, sometimes the fear is our kid, our partner, our friend isn't going to love us. Right. And so that need for love and connection and appreciation feels tenuous or like it's going to be taken away. And so then we think to ourselves, well, I must sacrifice because it's the only way I've gotten love. And my guess is this connects to a string of things in the past where you've gone out of your way to do something in order to feel love, connection, or appreciation.
I love that Ruby is highlighting that, because so those are the actual experiences, right? The tangible experiences that are transpiring. But in this dynamic or in this exchange, you also have a tremendous amount of nonverbal communication happening, a lot of energetic exchanges. So the energetic exchange of giving beyond your capacity automatically places you in victim mode inadvertently. And as a result of that, then what happens is that's the energetic translation or the energetic ingredients you're bringing to the table, right? Like, everybody think about this for a second. Think about the feeling of like, I sacrifice this to you. It's not a feel good. That is not a feel good feeling or sensation in our somatic selves. So if you have the story running, I'm sacrificing for you. And I do this with my own kid. I want to let you know, I can empathize. There's a lot of times where I'm like, Ezra, you have no idea how much I fucking pay for private school. You don't do this, you don't do this, you know, like, and I go out of my way. You can take out the damn garbage. Like, I know what it's like to be in mom mode. I get it. And I recognize too that in doing that, the energetic translation is that I feel disempowered. I'm disempowered in this place, and I'm pairing it with resentment. So disempowerment and resentment are wonderful sort of ingredients or factors to create a sense of victimization. And now that is your bat signal to the universe. I'm a victim, right? I'm in a powerless place. And now the people around you have no other choice than to respond to that accordingly. So it's actually not surprising to me that you're having this interaction with him. If you were to get on this call and be like, I am so full of resource and I have all this extra money to dish out and lend support, and I had an extra car that I'm not using, this would be an entirely different conversation. He not only would he probably be responding to you differently, but you probably wouldn't even have any focus on wanting him to show up a certain way as a result of this favor or as a result of this effort. It wouldn't even be in your sphere. I'm going to challenge you even further. You actually have no control whether or not he succeeds. As crazy and as annoying as that sounds, you can create a safe home for him. You can create a safe relationship for him to practice being in the world with. You can support him in many ways, right? When you're offering from a place of resource, but what he chooses to do with those resources at the end of the day is ultimately up to him. And this is the thing, it sounds like you have sort of a fixed desire in terms of the outcome, and that's driving this motivation behind giving to him. But what really was going to end up happening, that results in enabling behavior. And most importantly, most importantly, when we do this with people, our children, our partners, our mentees, whoever it is, we rob them of the experience of developing their own sort of journey and their own resilience and their own lessons. There may be something about him that needs to undergo a moment of adversity or a moment of tension or stress or critical thinking or problem solving in order to catapult him to this next level. If you are constantly there giving him whatever he needs to succeed, you're actually stripping him from the very necessary components of developing his own self-efficacy. And when we give like this to our children unconditionally, we're also looking at them. We may not be saying it, but we are saying and thinking to ourselves, you don't have what it takes to get this together on your own. And let me tell you, our children feel that. It might not be said overtly, but they feel that energetically. And they grow up feeling insecure, and they grow up not feeling self-sufficient, and they grow up feeling insecure about decision making.
I want to underline for everyone here, when we sacrifice and we overextend ourselves beyond what we have to give, that is just as much of a detriment to that relationship as it is to ourselves. Anytime we give beyond our own ability to give out of 100% alignment, we are damaging that relationship with that person. And we're also saying, I don't believe you can do this on your own. So that disrespect you're feeling is also a disrespect you're giving, right? I don't trust you to figure this out on your own. I don't trust you to succeed without my help. I don't trust you to be a grown-up in this world unless I sacrifice my own needs. And ultimately, Is that the message you want to send energetically, directly, indirectly? And it's just something to think about and to navigate. And we're not saying you have to pull away the keys from your car or take it back or be like, you ungrateful little son of a bitch, no more. Like, you don't have to do any of that. If you want to, that's fine too. But ultimately, get into that place of alignment, feeling good, or at least a neutral, and then look at this differently. What would it look like to support my son in a way that also supports me? Right? What would that look like? Maybe it's the same. Maybe you get to this place of like, you know what? I totally feel good about this. And now you're choosing to give him the car, period. Right? It's not, you have no choice. You've gotten to an alignment, you've thought about it, and you're choosing, yes, I want to do this. But that's what we're always going to tell every single one of you. Get into alignment and now look at it. Can't get into alignment? Do a trust fall and look at it. Do some breathing exercises just to be able to see it without the blinders of, when we're out of alignment, when we're out of connection with ourselves, things look and feel really different. So this brings the power back to you and your choices and decisions, and it allows you to then make a decision from that connected place.